This is the Tom Barnard Podcast. Listen live weekday mornings, 8 to 9:30, or anytime you like as a podcast on the Tom Barnard app at tombarnardshow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
That is absolutely true, ladies and gentlemen. I do have to start the show with a bit of, well, I mean, for you guys, it's cool, but I found out yesterday, what?
This is probably like, you just made it sound like this is terrible for you, but for me and AJ, this is probably going to be great news.
Well, you don't know him. That's why it's not great news. It's just not going to affect you because you don't know him.
Okay.
The best, I would say, it was not a high-end restaurant. So what would you call that? Just like a
dump?
No, it wasn't a dump at all.
It was like it's like a casual fine dining type place.
Yeah, kind of casual. Yeah, it's a good way to put it. Casual fine dining.
Just like a rundown, you know,
don't wear sweatpants, but also you don't have to wear a suit.
You pop in, you pop
Correct.
out. That's about it. Yeah.
There are a couple of Italian restaurants in this neighborhood. One is Trevini, which is very high end and very, very nice. Mm-hmm. And the other one was called Stresa. Stresa is an island off of Italy. And I have known the owner of Stresa for 27 years. He and I became really, really good friends. I get to the area last night, went to the restaurant. It's closed.
No, you always go to that one.
Restaurant. What?
That's the one you always go to, correct?
Yeah, that's for 27 years. No question about it. It's closed. So I go to Trevini, the other one that my friend owns. He's not there either. They tell me, Tom, I don't know why nobody told you, but Claudio died a couple months ago.
Oh.
It's like, son of a bitch. Nobody told me he was dead. Thanks a lot. I'm going, hey, we get to go to Stresa. Nobody told me he was closed. Nobody told me he was dead. Claudio was one of the great restaurateurs of all time. If you loved Italian food, you couldn't beat Claudio's restaurants. Trevini is still open. It's one of those deals where Stresa was in West Palm Beach, and you go and have a good meal, and it was really fairly priced and all the rest of it. And then you go on Palm Beach Island, and a hot dog is $50. So, that's the major problem with the whole argument. It was a very working person type of restaurant. Very nice, don't get me wrong. It wasn't, high end or anything, but it was very nice. Food was phenomenal. And the greatest thing about that is the last time I saw him was... what's the thing in May again? What's that
May Day?
National holiday? Isn't there one in
Cinco de Mayo?
Not Cinco de Mayo. Isn't it like Labor Day? No, Labor Day's in September. What's the other one?
Let me look.
There's another one in May or something. Or it's a 3-day weekend in May you get.
Memorial Day?
Yeah, Memorial Day. There you go. So I went to see him last Memorial Day as we were hitting the road coming back to Minnesota. And as I left, I will never forget this. Claudio walked up and gave me a big hug and said, man, hope to see you next year. And I'm like, what do you mean hope to see you next year? I'll be back. And he goes, okay, good. Well, he hoped to see me next year, and it ain't going to happen. But Claudio was one of the great talents, a wonderful man, but an Italian who would put up with no BS in his restaurants, which my family loved. But my greatest memory now, because, my kids were 11 and 9 when I met Claudio and we started going to Stresa.
Mm-hmm.
But the greatest thing is Fawny went there. She loved it out of the box. Then Seiji comes along 2 years later. He loves the place. But the best, it was wonderful to watch. One of the best of all time, though, is we take a 2-year-old at the time, Ethan, Andy's son. Mm-hmm. Who they said, oh, God, he acts up at restaurants. It's not going to go well. He'll make all kinds of noise. I said, don't worry about it. It's Claudio. He'll put us off in the corner. We're not going to bother anybody. We went. The food came. Ethan never talked, never made a sound other than, yum. He kept just shoveling the food in. It's just such a great last memory of Stresa, watching my 2-year-old grandson shovel food into his face with both hands. Yum, yum. And then he looks over at Claudio, who's sitting about 20 feet away, and waves to him. Oh, hey, your chow's pretty good. Oh, okay, they're 2-year-old. Settle down. But yeah, one of those great memories, and it truly did It did hurt hearing that he had died, and nobody bothered to tell me. Thank you so much for that. But,
I can't believe nobody told us either. Right, Tevin?
Right.
Yeah, what the hell? I figure you guys would know.
Unbelievable that we were out of the loop there. But I'm sure in whatever world beyond this one,
there you go.
A nice big bowl of bolognese waiting for you.
Oh, how did you know? I love bolognese. Did you love bolognese?
I dabble.
If it's noodles and sauce, sign me up. Like those, the big, like where they have the Parmesan like bowl that they mix the noodles in and melt the cheese, then pour it on your plate. Throw that in there too. I love it all.
It's lasagna night at the Frederickson households, and it's big time.
Do you guys have a favorite working person Italian place and a favorite high-end Italian place in the Twin Cities? I mean, both St. Paul and Minneapolis.
Like if my go-to quick Italian place is D'Amico and Sons. Like for their lasagna.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh, their lasagna is phenomenal.
It's really good.
Of course,
I don't get out to many like the high class joints, kind of like you're talking about. I just don't. I don't know. I feel like there's got to be an occasion for that. I love catching either a bowl of masticholi or something like that before a wild game of Cassetta's.
Cassetta is great. Yep,
fantastic.
No, there are a lot of great Italian restaurants in the Twin Cities area, both high end ones and working people ones and all that. You notice I didn't say working class. I hate that. Oh, he's working class. Oh, am I in a class now? Am I? Settle down, you dumb bastards. But yeah, so we'll move on from that. It still hurts my head to talk about the fact that Claudio's dead and I'll never see him again. But I do remember that hug he gave me the last time I saw him, and it just it's one of those great moments, in friendship. Mm-hmm. Okay, who was named the sexiest man alive? Was it Tevin? Was it AJ? Was it me?
I think AJ beat me out by just a hair.
Way to go, Tevin!
Yeah, by one of those long, illustrious hairs on top of his head.
Okay. Do you guys have any idea who did win?
I have no idea. I feel like if I had to throw it out there, I know it's been like either the Bradley Coopers or the Idris Elbas or whatever. I feel like it's going to be some actor that maybe I'm behind the curve on that I haven't quite heard of yet that everybody else knows about.
Yeah, and I don't think they really do repeat winners, so I don't think like a Ryan Gosling, Jason Momoa will probably be in there. So
yeah,
maybe the guy from Reacher.
Ooh, that was a good one.
That's a good one. I forget his name though.
I have no idea what his name is, but that guy.
He's a big fella, man.
Yep.
That boy is big. Stephen Colbert, the most unfunny human being on earth. You guys like him?
No, but I thought that you were about to say he was voted the sexiest person.
No, he announced it.
I don't think I'd want to get a beer with Stephen Colbert, but I think it could be interesting to sit and chat with him for a little bit.
Oh, I think that's probably true. Yeah,
I think his on TV persona is probably different than what he's like in real life.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure that is true. No question about it. Look, I mean, they're in a situation where these guys came on to following Johnny Carson. You don't want to do that.
No.
You
exactly.
don't want to. The best of all time, Johnny Carson was phenomenal at that job. Mm-hmm. Although I guess he was a prick backstage. I never met him, never even talked to Johnny Carson, but didn't he die at like 65 or 66 or something? He wasn't very old when he died. Had more money than lived on a yacht, I guess, for the last couple of years of his life.
Johnny Carson?
Yeah.
He died at 79.
Oh, he was 79. I didn't know he was that old.
Back in 2005.
Oh, my God. That was almost 10 years ago already. Or 20 years ago.
20 years ago, yeah.
Almost 20 years ago already he's been dead. But in any case, the sexiest man alive, Stephen Colbert revealed People Magazine's Sexiest Man Alive last night on The Late Show. And the winner is John Krasinski.
Oh, Jim from The Office?
Yep.
Okay.
What? And he's in...
you guys are, oh, really? That's him? Okay.
What's the... isn't he in like Jack something, Reacher,
he's in
Amazon Prime cop show?
Yeah, was he in
Special
Quiet
Agent?
Place?
I don't know.
Maybe he wrote that? I don't know.
Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan. Is that what you're talking about?
Jack Ryan.
That's
there
what
we
it is.
go.
Okay.
There you go. And then you got A Quiet Place, The Office. He's a very talented guy. He's a cute guy, I would say. I would say he's pretty sexy because he's got a sense of humor and
Yeah,
good pick.
he's a strapping young lad.
Yeah.
Strapping young lad.
Good for John.
Good for John Krasinski. I don't know if I'd have picked a Pollock, but
I just feel like he would have won by now. Like
true. Yep.
He feels like somebody that I've heard has already won this, but maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe that was just another white guy.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. John did appear on The Late Show and taught Stephen Colbert how to be sexy. Well, it didn't work, obviously, but he also told Stephen he's doing a Jack Ryan movie.
I was just going to say, I looked up what he has coming up, and he's going to be promoting a Jack Ryan film that's coming up. So, name of the sexiest man alive. Hopefully you get a bunch of women to flood the theaters to watch him run around killing bad guys.
Well, I put in my vote, and I'm sure you because you get to vote for the sexiest man alive, and I went with Stanley Hubbard, but he didn't win.
That was after last Tuesday. That was on Wednesday. You were supposed to get back out to the ballot box.
Oh.
Okay. I mailed mine in, so I don't think it got there in time.
I didn't get it in time. I miss Stanley. I saw him about a year ago. I've known that guy for 40 years, something like that. It's always been very, very pleasant to me. I don't know what that's all. He's just a good guy, don't you think? You guys ever deal with Stanley Hubbard Jr.?
Can't say that I have.
I think we crossed paths at the last holiday party.
Oh yeah, sure.
Just said, hey, how are you? Blah blah blah. I'm so and so. But then him and I don't cross paths too often.
I'm glad you brought that up because one of my fondest memories of being on 1500 KSTP doing the night show. I went to the Christmas party. This would have been probably 1974, I would guess 73 maybe, and it was at Town and Country back when they used to have it at Town and Country back in those days. And I was wearing my big old, what was the name of that pimp movie where the guy wore that big old giant tipped hat and he always had the long coat. What the hell was the name of that movie again? It wasn't Shaft, but it was that era, is all I'm saying. Damn right. But in any case, I'm walking in. I suppose I looked like a pimp to him, when you look back at it.
I bet.
But one of the reasons I love Stanley Hubbard is he looks at me and he goes, Merry Christmas, man. I love that. It's just what a great way to approach the whole deal. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Just a good guy, a really, really decent guy. So, yeah, John Krasinski, we all missed out again. John Krasinski is the sexiest man alive. Why is the sexiest man alive always an American?
I don't know that they send the ballot out to other countries.
Afghanistan, places like that.
It's not like a Miss USA or Miss Universe type pageant. Who votes for this? I
don't know. It's a People magazine, I guess. The people who work at People magazine, looks like.
It looks like the last non-American was Ryan Reynolds, who is a Canadian.
Oh, that makes sense.
American adjacent.
Yeah.
Well, let me put it this way. An American, if you carry Americans on your back. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Idris Elba, I think he's British.
Yeah, he's British. A little bit
Oh,
British.
Yeah.
He was back in 2018. David Beckham was 2015.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, ladies love David.
Chris Hemsworth was 2014. I think he's Irish or Scottish. No, he's Australian, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Or yeah.
Kind of sound the same, actually.
Well, so they got it covered. They got the whole thing covered. It works out in the end. But so, yeah, sexiest man alive would be John Krasinski, and good for him. I like the guy. He's very, very funny, does a nice job. I loved him on The Office. I thought he was terrific on The Office. No question about it. All right, what else is happening in news? Anything any good?
When is it ever good?
Let's see here. I don't think so. Was anybody shot overnight?
I'm sure.
No, not that. Well, no, but nobody that I know anyway,
Well,
which is always a good sign, isn't it?
We might be able to talk about this with Judd. The Twins had some news happen where people are stepping down and getting promoted. And
oh, really?
Yeah,
front
some
office
musical chairs.
It sounds like there might be an opening for you there, Tommy.
No, should we wait for what's his name, Ben?
I got confused for a second. So who the hell's about to be on the show that name rhymes with Ben?
He's a good kid. Let's just poke the bear, right? Don't you think it's a good idea?
I agree.
I agree. You agree. Everybody agrees. Should we take our break and get back to?
Yeah. Let's take a break and we'll bring Ben on after that.
Yeah. His real name is what? Tim. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. friend of mine died, so I'm in one of those moods where I'm going to just poke the bear all day long because I'm pissed off at the world my friend died. Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety from wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. We know that. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk, never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. And I got to tell you right here in the middle that I got an email from Josh overnight that said, "Oh, I'm sorry I missed it. I heard it was your birthday today." No, my birthday was 6 days ago. But you know, Josh, don't worry about it. My buddy, Josh Arnold, keeping an eye on Tommy at all times. But I do love Josh. He's a great guy. Call Josh today, 952-925-5608, and set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That, again, is 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold, investment consultant, LLC, security investment advisor, past performance, no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions of Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice, and I am a paid endorser.
When you need someone to listen, a lawyer you know and trust.
If you've never been in an auto accident, it's hard to know what to expect from the insurance adjuster. Here are some tips. 1, if they talk to you about whether or not you should hire a lawyer, it's a good sign that you probably should. 2, it's illegal for them to give you any legal advice. They aren't lawyers and they aren't licensed to practice law. 3, if they tell you that everyone involved in the accident is at fault, they're wrong. This comes from the belief that you're at fault for just being on the road. That's nonsense and not supported by any law. Finally, remember that friendly adjusters are often just gaining information. They want you to do most of the talking so they can file their report. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. I hope you're never injured in a collision. But if you are, don't sign anything until you've talked to us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
Take a second to talk about my bank. That, of course, would be North American Banking Company, Mike Bilski. If you own a business or are thinking about starting one, make sure to check out my friends at North American Banking Company. When your business is looking to capitalize on an opportunity or solve a problem, turn to their experts because they are locally owned and operated. Loan decisions are made here in the Twin Cities, not shipped out of state. This helps business owners expand with confidence. So if you're looking for a better banking experience, why not bank with my friends at North American Banking Company? Go to nabankco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast. Listen live weekday mornings, 8 to 9:30, or anytime you like as a podcast on the Tom Barnard app at tombarnardshow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Judd Zulgad, SKOR North, joins us right now. Apparently, T and AJ have got some stuff to schmooze with you about it as far as sports are concerned. What was the thing you guys just brought up again? There was some big news.
A big shuffle in the front office.
Shuffle.
Wins, right?
Shuffle.
Yeah, is it all because of the ownership exchange selling the team, or is this something that was probably going to happen regardless?
Oh, I think this was going to happen regardless, but I also think I think the shuffle actually tries to set things in motion for what I think the poll ads are hoping it is at the end. So Dave St. Peter, who's been the president since 2002 and who's been with the club since he was an intern in 1990, worked his way up, is going to transition to becoming a advisor of sorts. But he's keeping the president role for now. So this transition is going to happen at some point in the first quarter of 2025. And Derek Falvey, who was already in charge of the baseball operations, is now going to be the president of baseball operations and of the business side of things. But again, it's not immediate, so it's going to be a little bit slow. And Dave, for the time being, I think Dave will be there until the poll ads sell. That is assuming that they do sell, but I think that's going to be a slow transition.
Isn't 1.7 a pretty good price for that team?
I think they want more than that.
Or do they want more than that?
I think they do. Yeah, I think I've seen 1.5 as a starting point, and I think they want more. And I've heard that they would like more than that. So,
so would I. But
yeah, exactly. Will you get it? I have no clue. And here, but here's the real question, Tom. If they don't, will they pull the team off the market and not sell? Because that happened with the Nationals and the Angels, I believe. Both of them were put up for sale. Clearly didn't get what they wanted, and they just got pulled off the market. I think the Poets want to sell, but it's a question.
One of the four of us buy it. We'll each pay for a quarter of it.
I would borrow a quarter of that from you.
Well, I was going to say, fortunately, a quarter is all I can offer. So,
well, a quarter is like $400 million, isn't it?
Oh, I was talking like 25 cents. That's all I got on me.
Yeah, it does bother me. I don't know. Look, the team needs to be restructured anyway. And again, I've never met Baldelli. I don't know anything about him. I don't know if he's good, bad, or indifferent. I don't really have an opinion about him. I'm not very impressed with how his teams play. I will tell you that.
Yeah, well, I got bad news because I think Derek Falvey loves him. So, and he just got more power. I mean, I don't know that this is from that end. I don't know that putting Falvey in charge of the entire operation's a great idea. Now he's going to. So they hired a younger guy who's been with them for quite a few years now, Jeremy Zoll, as the GM. So he's going to. It sounds like he's going to play a major role in running the day-to-day baseball operation. But I don't know what Falvey's qualification to run the entire franchise is. And just trying to run the baseball department is a major deal. So I'm curious to see how this shakes out. And let's go back to, if they're sold, the new people could come in and blow everybody out.
Oh, yeah.
So,
and they will, by the way.
This could all be a very interesting talking point until the team transfers ownership, at which point it could be a moot talking point because they could fire people.
I have a question for you. Is there a market out there that's begging for a baseball team?
No.
Oh, good. Thank God, because otherwise that'd be happening. I guarantee you that.
Maybe Oakland. And now that they lost the Athletics,
right? No, you don't want to play in Oakland. You ever been in that stadium?
Right. Oh yeah.
It's hyperventilate.
It's a glorious old dump, is what that is.
Yeah.
Those old stadiums,
Yep.
San Diego is the same way. It's gone now, but the Murph was. I covered football games in both. In fact, I covered the Favre game the night after his dad died, the Monday night game in 2003, which was just an unbelievable event to cover. But Oakland and San Diego were absolute, 1960s relics, right? Gorgeous in 1960 something, and just dated and really old school.
What's great about that, though, is San Diego might be one of the most beautiful cities in the world. God, that city's beautiful.
Oh, and the weather's phenomenal.
It's the best weather in the world, too. It looks like 74 and sunny every day.
Yep. Without the smog and BS of Los Angeles.
Yep. They don't get humidity. They don't get any of that stuff.
It's gorgeous there. It's absolutely gorgeous.
We'll keep an eye on it because, look, I mean, you know that I'm a huge Twins fan. There's no question about it. I love the Twins. I have since, I was 9 years old when they came from Washington. And I don't know. I'm not real happy with the way things have gone. Now, let's be honest. The Pohlads did win 2 World Series, so you got to give them credit for that. That, of course, was a long time ago now, but 87 and 91.
Yep.
So yeah, we're coming up on a big number, I guess is the best way to put it. I would love to, if there was somebody that came in and bought the team, do you have anybody in mind that you'd like to see buy the team?
I don't, because I don't think it's going to be local. I think it's going to be. No. It used to be you became very concerned by the old absentee ownership, right? Oh, be careful, they might move the team, and that was a threat at one time, but things have changed. And the thing about the Twins' future in this state is they're absolutely solidly here because baseball would not let them move because they've got their ballpark. So
right, I'm going to reach out and I'm going to bring somebody on the show, but only if you guys support my choice to buy the Minnesota Twins.
Who's that?
Okay. He can afford it. I will tell you that. He does very, very well. But I'm going to get on the horn today. I'm going to call the future president of the United States, Donald Trump, and tell him to put Elon Musk on the line. Elon Musk owns the Minnesota Twins. He'd probably win about 10 World Series in a row with all his dough. God, can you imagine having that much money and owning a baseball team?
No.
Oh.
No, I can't.
He'd be the cheerleader. He'd be out in the field jumping up and down constantly.
Yeah, I think baseball is too slow for him.
I'm telling you, he'd be a great owner of the Minnesota Twins. It'd be wonderful.
You know, before Carl bought the team from Calvin Griffith in '84, Donald Trump put in a big that was supposedly more than Carl's. What I think was 44 million at the time, believe it or not.
Yep.
And got turned down. Now, of course, Donald Trump put in the bid. The question is, did he have the, it's one thing to bid. It's another to actually open up your books and show that you can afford the team. But anyway, yeah, so it could have happened.
Elon Musk would have to spend, it's just doing quick math in my head, about 1.5% of his wealth to buy the team at $1.5 billion.
Yeah, I mean, his kids won't get an allowance this week, but, he gets to buy the Twins, so.
He could buy the Twins for a tip. I mean, that's how much money this guy's got. Crazy. Elon Musk has to buy the Twins, and I will take it on. I'll put it on my shoulders to get it done.
You do that.
Elon, get off your ass and buy the Twins. Did you hear me? Let's go.
You do that. You tell him.
I will tell him. No question about it. You think Donald will take my call since he might be a little busy?
Oh, yeah. Of course he
Just
would.
A little.
Of course he would.
Were you shocked that Pete Hegseth is the Secretary of Defense? Did you see that coming?
One, I did not. Two, I have avoided most of this stuff at all costs because I just cover sports and I don't want to, this whole thing is, you know what? The election's done. And the one thing I love is, and we talked about this before, but I love the fact that I can now turn on a sporting event and not see any commercials.
No, I understand that. And look, the only reason I bring that whole situation up is because I just think we can get all this stuff taken care of. The Tom Barnard Podcast got all our problems solved in one day. Pete Hegseth, by the way.
Yeah.
We had him in studio over at the Q. I don't think Pete and I probably would get along all that well. Maybe not. I mean, I call him and talk to him on the phone once in a while, but I haven't done that now in probably a year and a half, something like that. But he, I don't know. We'll see how it all works out in the end. But I don't know. I don't know how else to say it. You go from being a host on a news deal to being the Secretary of Defense. Now, look, he fought in 2 wars, so he's definitely well qualified.
Yep.
But I didn't see that coming.
No, things, as the kids say, things change quickly.
Yes, things change quickly.
Things change very quickly.
We'll keep going through it. See what? Okay, let me put it this way. Who's our Secretary of Defense right now?
I don't know his name, but he's a 4-star general.
Okay, you don't know his name though. Anybody? You two? What's his name?
No, I'm Colin Powell.
The only reason I asked you. Yes, yeah, Adam Clayton Powell. That's exactly what it was. There's no question. No, the reason I asked you that question is
Lloyd Austin.
Like I said, nobody knows.
No, I would not have known Lloyd Austin.
Do you know anybody that could come up with Lloyd Austin?
I would hope people in politics, but
that's about it.
A political junkie, yeah.
Running for the CPC chair, so
we'll see how it works out. But anyway, the reason I brought up Pete Hegseth in the first place is he's a Minnesota boy. His family's from, what's the name of that town up there again? Lindstrom, Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's from Lindstrom, Minnesota, I think.
Okay.
So, look, anytime a guy born and raised in Minnesota becomes a Secretary of Defense, you got to bring it up, don't you? It's a Minnesota boy.
Absolutely. I had no idea.
Yeah. Actually, like I said, when he was in studio, he was a very, very nice guy. But then the last time I talked to him, I said, I was just watching your show when you mentioned me on there, which I really do appreciate, but there's kind of an edge to it. And he goes, yeah, I got a problem. I said, what's that, Pete? And he goes, my parents hate you. I'm like, oh, okay. I put up with that my entire career. We love you. Yeah, well, we hate you. Yeah. It's either far left or far right. There's no middle.
Why you're popular, though?
I don't know. Popular with who?
Well, it's why people watch you or listen because of that. Because of the fact that because it is incredible. You probably have as big of a fan base, if that's the correct word, of people who consume your stuff as people that love it.
Yeah,
I do. Like, we get people that are like absolutely can't stand us, and they send us notes constantly.
Yep. Oh,
So
no, that's
they must
absolutely true.
always be paying attention. It's like, okay, whatever you want to do.
I should probably reach out and try to get Pete on the show. Just again, not because he's, a close buddy or anything like that. I've known him for a few years, but yeah, a Minnesota boy gets appointed Secretary of Defense. That's big news for the state of Minnesota, I think.
Yeah, I would
like to honor that. So, Tevin and AJ, get off your ass and get them on the show today. I'm busy.
Okay. Well, we'll text him.
Give him a text. Tell him, hey, Pete, get off your ass.
Hey, what's going on, Pete?
So what else you got, Pally?
Oh, Timberwolves went to Portland last night. Portland's not good, and the Timberwolves were absolutely worse. That was a little bit of I've been trying to remain calm as possible, but that was a little bit of a disturbing performance by the Timberwolves. It was ugly.
You know what I really love about this? After working with you for 2 years now, I can tell by the look on your face which team won and which team lost. You don't even have to say anything.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Not surprised one bit. Yeah, especially when it's a bad loss. That was a bad loss. They looked awful last night.
Really, really bad, huh?
Yes.
Why?
Against a bad team. That I don't know. And I've tried to remain calm as possible because they made the Karl Anthony Towns trade. They got 2 new players. It takes time. It's a long season, but you hate to get smoked by what's not a good basketball team. And it really looked like they were discombobulated.
It's true. All right, Pally, we'll talk to you again tomorrow. We'll see if things get a little better on the sports scene, but maybe we'll get a hold of Elon Musk and get him to buy the Twins by this time tomorrow.
That would be very possible.
We'll get it done.
I like it.
All
right. See you guys.
Thanks a lot. Judd Zulgad, SKOR North. Ladies and gentlemen, take a break. Be right back. We have a genius coming up next. I don't want people to get uncomfortable. He's a lot smarter than we are, so just adjust to it, right?
Yes.
I think we're thinking of the wrong guest.
Oh, so I thought we had the right guy. We'll be right back. Ross will join us right after this. K&L Surplus and Ammo is your one-stop shop for all things firearm related, located on Lake Drive in Circle Pines. Jim, the owner, has over 25 years of experience, offers honest value and great prices with free shipping on a huge selection of handguns, shotguns, plus AR and conventional rifles. Over the years, K&L has established the buying power of larger stores, and that's what keeps the costs down. Look, I've known Jim for a couple of years now. He's a really, really good guy. You can trust him. He knows more about firearms than anyone I've ever met, so Jim is your guy at K&L. If you're looking for a firearm and need to stock and some ammunition, go to K&L Surplus and Ammo on Lake Drive in Circle Pines or online at www.klgunstore.com.
The past several years have been the craziest in the history of the car business. The pandemic, supply chain and chip issues, all causing extreme inventory shortages that led to, predatory pricing. Some dealers charge thousands of dollars over MSRP.
We never played that game. I'm Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC. We knew that would leave a bad taste in a customer's mouth. More importantly, from an integrity standpoint, it was just wrong.
So what about the current market? Inventory and pricing.
Valley has their best inventory in years. Really all the Buick and GMC models. Even the previously hard-to-find Yukons, HD pickups, and Hummer EVs. Plenty of deep discounts. Many with factory rebates and low-interest financing.
Then it's a good time to buy?
It's a great time. We're welcoming our previous customers back, as well as anyone else that felt the treatment just didn't feel right the last time somewhere else.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Car buying without the bad aftertaste.
A large retail store just canceled a huge order, leaving MyPillow with a ton of extra MyPillows. But you know what? That's their loss and your gain. For the first time ever, you'll get the standard classic MyPillow for wholesale prices. Yes, I did say wholesale prices, only $14.88. But it gets even better. For a limited time, they're going to offer their entire classic collection at wholesale prices. Get queen-size MyPillows for just $18.88. Upgrade to king size for only $1 more. Get the body pillows for $29.88 and multi-use MyPillows for only $9.88. So go to MyPillow.com, use promo code TOM, or call 800-516-5146. Take advantage of wholesale pricing for the first time ever and receive free shipping on orders over $75. That's right. Get the standard MyPillow for only $14.88. They have never been offered this low before. There are limited quantities at this price, so the limit is going to be 10. And once they're gone, they're gone. So go to MyPillow.com, call 800-516-5146, and use promo code TOM to get the standard MyPillow for only $14.88, the lowest price ever.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hubbard Broadcasting's Ross Brendel is brought to you. It's got to be very, I'm trying to be very dramatic.
You're doing good.
Okay.
You're doing good.
Ross, brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ross to the show.
Well, you know what? The Josh Arnold read is a good setup for maybe topic number one. Whenever I help out Chris Eggert here, I do my best to go to KSTP.com where I gather all my news and find a few stories that you guys might find interesting.
Excellent.
One of them, I don't know. I wasn't able to listen to the beginning of the show. I don't know if Judd got into this, but all the changes with the Minnesota Twins and our guy Dave St. Peter stepping down.
Oh, Dougie's here, too. Doug Sprinthal just popped in,
Doug!
Ross.
How about this?
Boy,
this is
if I'm the highlight of somebody's day, you're having a bad day.
You know, this is a dream come true for me. I've only heard Doug's voice for 20 years and never actually seen it face to face, or I guess screen to screen. Doug, nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you as well.
All right, the three of us are going to sit back and listen to you two, Hanya, because it's going to be great.
No. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're not interrupting.
You're a Twins guy. Saw you were pitching for Elon Musk to take over or buy the Twins. How about you just...
Let's knock that off right now. It's America's pastime, not South Africans' pastime.
Why don't you send a note to Derek Falvey and say, I would like to be the president of the Minnesota Twins, Derek, or at least your assistant?
Sure.
Tom, I think you should be, Tom.
You couldn't believe how hard I'd come down on that team, right? Hey, you, get off your ass. Ought to be wonderful.
I've seen Tom play. I think he'd make probably the worst pitching coach in the majors.
Oh, there's no question about that.
And actually, even T-ball.
Okay, Ross, what he's talking about is, very quickly, there was the Tom Barnard Day at the Minnesota Twins Stadium 2 years ago. Every neighbor and friend I have was at the game. They all got, because 1987 World Series, when, the Twins played well, I'd, talk about how well they played. They, took them 7 games to win the World Series. When they didn't play well, I'd criticize the hell out of them, right? So a guy brought a bed sheet, huge bed sheet, and hung it over the left upper deck frontage there, the wall. And it's not really a wall. It's just hang it over the front of the second deck. And on that sheet, it said, Tom Barnard, IQ 92. Which we then recreated for hats. You still have your IQ 92 hat, Dougie?
I lost mine on the move, and it's. I hope it surfaces again. You know what it's like when you move. You the first week you can't even find your toothbrush.
True.
And then a couple of months go by, and it's like that's where I left it. Okay, so
you still have yours, Tevin?
No, but I think mine got lost in one of my numerous moves as well.
You're
I don't have
a copycat.
Can we find one on eBay maybe? I bet you something like that. You'd be surprised at what pops up on eBay. As one of 18 people who still uses eBay, you'd be surprised what you can find there. So regardless, I am looking forward to seeing how these shuffles and change-ups with the Twins actually affect the organization and the team on the field. Because until you get a resolution at owner, I'm not sure how much of a difference some of these moves can make. Maybe they will make more of a difference than I expect they will, but it's just, that's got to be tough. I know that's Dave St. Peter cited that as part of his reason for stepping aside. I don't know if that's all of the truth, but it's got to be tough when you're working for somebody that more than likely 95% plus isn't going to be there in a year or two.
Right,
So it makes sense. Good for Derek Falvey, though, getting more power. And I didn't see any terms of financials, but I'm assuming more money. So good for him. That's your news and sports crossover. I also took this from KSTP.com. There are a lot of things, gentlemen, I would just pay to be there. If they opened it up and said, we're going to let 10 people in, $1 million, and it's going to this charity. I don't have $1 million, but I would do my best to be there. President-elect Trump sitting down with President Joe Biden today in the Oval Office.
Yep, there you go, baby. Show some class, I will tell you, on Biden's part, because Trump did not do the same thing for him. He did not. So it's a classy move by Biden.
Hopefully that point is reiterated to Biden to Trump that in 4 years from now, unless you become a dictator, you're going to have to do the same thing for somebody, and you should step up and do that. So plenty of cabinet appointments, too. There's been so many in the last 24 hours. I won't even name them, but you can find more about that, kstp.com, or even just a quick Google search of some of these cabinet appointees. But I love these things. This actually shows a great democracy or constitutional republic when you do these. I just don't know how engaged Donald Trump will be in this, but
I think he actually
would be fun.
Is. If you remember back to 2016, he was really lazy about putting a cabinet together. I mean, when he got the job, only half the seats were filled, and now they're moving ahead at a much faster pace.
I guess I mean specifically today. Are you doing it because it's a dog and pony show, or are you doing it because you actually think that it's the right thing to do? But regardless, it's always fun. These are the staples of our American government, and it's fun to see these things actually happening. Not fun to see, boys, and I really want to reiterate this. I am not a hunter. I always tell people, you are allowed, please kill Bambi so I don't kill him with my car.
Sure.
So I'm not anti-hunting. I'm just not a hunter. I fish, but I wouldn't say I'm a fisherman. We had another incident over the weekend near Moorhead with a man who was shot and not expected to survive. Found that story at kstp.com. All I'm going to say here is I don't know if they took all safety precautions here or no safety precautions. It's just a reminder to please always be safe and aware of your surroundings when you're out hunting. I know that probably falls on deaf ears coming from a non-hunter like myself, but those stories to me are always so tragic because somebody's just out doing something that they enjoy and now they're not coming home, and that's always a bummer for me. So just
Ross,
please be safe.
Ross, I'm having a tough day the way it is because I just found out a friend of mine who owns Stressa in an Italian restaurant in my neighborhood died. Claudio was a great guy.
Condolences.
Yeah, no question about it. And, there are other people in the same situation which you're talking about. And, we're getting all whipped up here, but I'm just telling you, we need Elon Musk as the owner of the Twins. That's my last point. Elon Musk has to buy the Twins. Look, it'd be like you and me buying it for $20.
Yeah.
You
wouldn't have to worry about the team being like moved to Seattle or anything. You'd have to be worried about them being moved to space.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
South Africa. Yeah, exactly.
Would the names change? Yes. The Minnesota Rocket ships, would they change the name? Would he use it for branding? The Minnesota Twins presented by X.
Yeah. How do you say twins in Swahili?
Anybody here would know.
Good point.
We did. I'm a proud graduate of the Lakeville Public School System, and in I want to say 7th or 8th grade, gents, we did you took a class for a semester, and it was kind of like the figure out what language you want to take when you get to high school because you had to take a few languages. But this always made me laugh because they taught us, I believe Swahili was in there, French was definitely in there, Spanish, and there may have been German. I think there was another language. There may have been 5 languages they spent a few weeks on giving us like the introductory courses. But the best part about that is we're going to teach you all these languages. But oh, by the way, when you get to high school, you can only take French or Spanish.
Because when I was a kid, everybody took French. It's like, why are they still teaching that? Do they think they're going to take over the world again at some point? Or I think the days of France's domination on the world stage are about 250 years in their rear view.
I think this would have been the early 2000s. And I think when I got there, when I finally got to, at the time, Lakeville High School did 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. 7th, 8th, and 9th were junior high. It was just one high school at the time. I believe when I actually got into the physical high school, I don't believe French was an option anymore. I think it was just Spanish. But then you had to take it because you were supposed to take a foreign language. Now, I ended up taking it for 4 years. And I'm embarrassed to admit, gentlemen, there's no way I could carry a conversation. I mean,
no.
There's a few things that I remember. Did you take French, Doug?
Oui.
Oui.
That's all he knows.
Sorry.
Tevin, what about
yes.
you? I think
took,
you're young and hip. I think you're closer to my age.
2 years of Spanish, and I mean, I have a very broken concept of how to speak. If you drop me in Mexico right now, I'd be lost.
Do you know where you start, though? I always remember this. Donde está la biblioteca?
Oh, I was going to say dos cervezas, por favor.
More beer, please. Donde está la biblioteca will get you to the library.
Where they often have bathrooms. So if you don't,
there you go.
Bathroom,
You're good.
Just go to the library and you're good.
Also, for some reason, I'll always remember the Spanish word for parking lot is so much better than the American parking lot. Estacionamiento.
Oh,
that sounds cooler.
The station.
That's so much cooler. I don't really have much else for you guys. It's always nice to help out Chris Agert. I can tell you a lot of rain today, but it gets nicer tomorrow through the weekend. So struggle through today, and then the next 3 or 4 days should be a lot nicer.
All right. Well, I'll grab the rest of your job and ask AJ about what he likes. What do you think?
Yeah, AJ, you've been shockingly silent here today.
Did you take another language in school, AJ?
Yeah, I took German for a few years, and
you did? Okay.
Yeah, I remember like very, very basic stuff. To Doug's point about French, though, I think it's probably because, like, if you were to go to Canada, they're heavily French speakers there, especially in like Toronto, Quebec area. So
yeah, Montreal.
I bet you that's the relation
could
for
be
why French is popular.
But French people will tell you that French Canadians don't speak French. They just hate each other.
They do. Yes, that is very
terrible.
true.
Have any of you guys, I've never been and I really do want to go. Has anybody here been to Montreal?
I have not, but I want to. I want to go to the Bell Center, catch a Canadiens game.
Yeah, that's actually part of what I want to do when I'm there. By the way, Grey Cup this weekend. Go Winnipeg Blue Bombers for the W. For those of you who like Canadian football. Let's go. Let's go, guys.
I know Ross is a big Canadian football guy.
For the W, baby. 5th straight Grey Cup appearance.
I've been there a few times. The first time, only Tom will understand this. Expo 68.
Oh, my God. Really?
Yep. World's Fair. They used to, that used to be a big deal. I think that was one of the last big ones in Montreal. And it was cool. It was cool.
Can I
in New England, and it was like a 3 or 4 hour drive to Montreal. It wasn't very far at all.
Can I ask you guys a dumb question? Because even when I've researched this, I've never quite figured it out, and I have actually done Google searches and read stories.
Okay.
Can anybody explain to me what a World's Fair is? Is there any parallels to like a state fair?
Have you been to the state fair?
Is it the same thing? Is it literally the same thing?
No, it's not.
Okay. You had me.
I'm a bit of a pack rat, and I got this from my aunt. It's a hand-painted tray with hand-painted glasses from the 1939 World's Fair in New York.
Oh.
They're just cooler now.
See, now that's really cool.
Drink out of them. It's like, the gin might make the paint fall off.
Oh, my understanding wasn't there a way for like countries to get together and try to show off their coolest thing? And it's not like competition, but it's like, hey, look at the sweet car the Germans made with Audi compared to look at that.
There was a lot of that, because they were trying to predict the future, and sadly they got it wrong, because the future back in 1939 looked a lot better than it is today.
What do you mean? The future's looking bright.
Yeah. Okay.
Depends on what kind of job you have, of course.
That's true.
There is that. Ross has got to go. Aren't you busy?
Tom, I stopped my life to help you out, and I want you to know that. So I literally stopped my life to make this happen. So per usual, you are the best. Tevin, AJ, great to see you. Doug, truly an honor to actually meet you. Very, very cool. So thank you.
You flatter me. I live in Red Wing now, so when you want to stop by, just let me know.
And Ross,
oh my gosh.
Can we count on you tomorrow, same time?
How's that go? Same bat time, same bat place.
Channel.
Sure.
Perfect.
I'll be here. I'll be here. Thanks, boys.
Thanks, Ross. Ross, the good man, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, Hubbard's Ross Brendel. Is his name Brendel or Brendel? I didn't ever know
Brendel.
that.
Brendel.
It is Brendel. I thought so. Because I know a Brendel family. That's why I'm asking. So it's Ross. Let's say, I know his name is Ross, but I go, Thanks to Scott Brendel for coming on today, ladies and gentlemen. You ever heard that before? A guy just completely massacres someone's name?
Yes.
Actually, I did a radio commercials, very, very few with Steve Cannon. This is back in the early O's.
Hey, gang.
And I drove down on Saturday morning to downtown Minneapolis and gave him the script, and we're running through it. And he says, I'm here with Doug Springsteen. And I said,
Springsteen.
And he goes, oh, and he started cursing. It was really funny. I'm like,
Oh.
he was mad at himself. He didn't, he had no idea who I was. But
Yeah, but Sprinthal Springsteen.
yeah.
I like it. There's this clip of a news anchor. She's reading a story about, something happening in her community or whatever. But the lady in question, her name is like Deidre Maganda or something like that. But she goes, and the 35-year-old Didi Megadoodoo, and then like immediately corrects
Didi Megadoodoo, yes.
Didi Megadoodoo.
No question about it. Anyway, so Ross is brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608. We shall take a break and be right back. A little news and information. Doug Springsteen with us, of course. No question about it. We'll be right back.
Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety for wondering if you saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk. Never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608. Set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments must involve risk. You know that. All comments and opinions of Josh Arnold do not constitute investment advice. I am a paid endorser.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw & Bryant.
I'm talking with my friends Michael Bilski and Brad Huckle of North American Banking Company. Guys, business owners have had to deal with a lot over the last few years, haven't they?
They sure have, Tommy. We pride ourselves on being able to help our customers with the challenges they face.
Our business bankers are experts and are always ready to help our customers capitalize on opportunities and solve problems.
Loan decisions come quickly because they're made here in the Twin Cities and not shipped out of state like at some of the national banks in town.
This allows our customers to expand their businesses with confidence, knowing that they have our team of experts in their corner.
Okay, so now you give me this big thing at the end. Way to go.
Well, you are the professional.
Oh, I forgot.
Look, I know Brad and Mike, and I trust them with my banking. They've personally delivered on everything they've just said. So why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen, news and information. How many push-ups should you be able to do at every age? Well, that all depends, doesn't it?
I'm hoping the answer is 2.
You hoping it's 2? Okay, so you're what, 98 years old? He just goes, ha! Okay, let's just not go with how many you can do, but the average person, the average man, how many push-ups should you be able to do for the average man in America.
What age are we talking about here? Because I
So
feel
is that like 40? 40
Yeah,
years old.
let's go 40, 45, something like that.
I feel like 25, 30.
25, 30. Okay, and another guesses?
Been to Walmart lately?
That's cold. Hey, let me get in the line with you. Anybody have something better? 40. Okay, we got 40 from Tevin. 40.
No, 30. I'll go 30.
Oh, you go 30. Okay.
I was going to say 20.
I was going to say like 20-ish.
Okay, and I'm
I
going
feel
to
like
say
it's going to be like 50 though, and then everybody's going to be put to shame.
Bullshit.
I'm going to say it's like 5. Like that'll probably be super.
See, you got the
super
Walmart
low.
thing in
Yeah.
your head now, don't you?
Realistically, I was going to say like 5 or 10, but I feel like it's going to be higher than that.
Yeah.
Like these studies are made to make you feel like, I'm a piece of
Yep.
crap.
If you can't do 100 push-ups in 1 minute.
You guys ever notice that I don't talk for an hour after I ask you a question? You ever notice that? Jesus, pal.
Did you guys hear something?
What?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we got Tevin at 30. We got Doug at 20. We got AJ at 20, and I'm going 5.
Okay.
Because of Doug's, earlier statement talking about, have you seen people in America lately?
Well, every time I go there, and I actually shop there fairly often, I almost always get my foot run over by some guy in one of those electric scooter carts.
Oh, that's true. Okay, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. How many push-ups could you do right now without stopping? There is a number to shoot for. The Mayo Clinic posted guidelines for how many push-ups men and women should be able to do at various ages from 25 to 65. Being healthy is also about diet, cardio, and lifestyle choices. Yeah, we know that. Stop preaching to us, you pills. But if you can do this many push-ups, they say it's a good sign. You're at least in good shape. We should have one of you guys try to do as many push-ups as you can right now before I say how many you should be able to do.
Well, I came in at 2.
He's coming in at 2.
Take it away, Tab, the former football star.
No. Oh, no.
All right, here we go. Okay, at 25 years old, this is for 20 push-ups for women, 28 for men. Okay, 35, 19, and 21. Again, the first number is for women, second number is for men, 19 and 21. 45 years old, 14 and 16. So basically, we all guessed pretty high.
This is making me feel a lot better about
that's
stuff.
not.
I thought I easily thought Tom was gonna be rattling off like, 40 and 50 and blah blah blah. No,
Yeah, AJ, you're not out of shape. You're just not old enough yet.
yeah, that's all.
it. 55 years old, 10 and 10 for women, 12 for men. 65 years old, 10 and 10, same for both. Oh, and that's as old as it gets. They don't have anything older than 65, so I don't know what to tell you.
Once you're over 65, the hell are you doing push-ups for?
Well, that's a good.
Right.
point.
Then it's I've fallen and I can't get up.
Yeah. You just got to do one.
So it sounds like
so
if
you can
you
get back up.
if you're 67 and you can do one push-up, you're like a superhuman at that point.
I think one of you guys should do some push-ups and we'll come. Do we have anybody? Well, oh, damn it. We don't have anybody coming in today. We could force them to do push-ups.
That'd be great.
Should we do the next guest that ever shows up has to do push-ups?
Yeah, next comedian that comes in to promote their shows. Hey, if you want to get on the mic, we got to see some push-ups.
I want you. Could one of you guys do this? Because I'm still looking at this on my computer. Would you look and see what the world record is for a woman and a man doing push-ups? Because I bet you it's around 1,000.
I was going to say that number sticks in my head as well. I just.
Those. I mean, I've seen some competition.
Most push-ups in an hour.
I've got
3,240.
Oh,
Daniel Scally last year recorded that. The previous record was 3,206. So he shattered it with an extra 43
in an hour.
Most push-ups in 12 hours, 20,085.
Holly Reese set the record for most push-ups in an hour by a woman with 1,036. I don't know when that was, but that's the record.
That's depressing. Now
I
may have
couldn't
to
do that in a zero gravity field.
Let me ask you this. How many do you think is the record for most in a minute by a guy? 1 minute, 60 seconds. That's it.
I'm going to buck 20.
Yeah, probably like 220.
220?
I was going to go with Tom because that's to a second, right?
Yep.
Well, in July of 2023, Patrick Mohit of India set the record for most push-ups in 1 minute by a male with 84.
84.
84.
Not even close.
So you shot it rather high.
Yeah, not that impressive.
Superman maybe stood a chance there.
There's a possibility, ladies and gentlemen, no question about it. In any case, we should probably take a break here and then come back, schmooze a little bit, because we got Kristen Burt coming up at the bottom of the hour. And, we got a little late to her yesterday, so I'm going to get to go on time today. That makes sense, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like it.
All righty, we'll be right back.
Mike Lindell and MyPillow employees want to thank all our listeners for all your continued support. When Mike started MyPillow, it was just a problem solution, one product company. Well, since then, they now have hundreds of products some of you may not even know about. For example, the brand new 4-pack dish towel sets, just $25. 6-pack towel sets, just $25. Bed sheets for as low as $25. Check out their overstock and closeout sale and save up to 80% off select items. You're looking for a good night's sleep? Take advantage of the classic collection on a variety of MyPillows for as low as $9.88. These amazing offers won't last long, so order now. Just go to MyPillow.com or call 800-516-5146 and use promo code TOM.
The past several years have been the craziest in the history of the car business. The pandemic, supply chain, and chip issues all causing extreme inventory shortages that led to, well, predatory pricing. Some dealers charge thousands of dollars over MSRP.
We never played that game. I'm Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC. We knew that would leave a bad taste in a customer's mouth. More importantly, from an integrity standpoint, it was just wrong.
So what about the current market? Inventory and pricing.
Valley has their best inventory in years. Really all the Buick and GMC models. Even the previously hard-to-find Yukons, HD pickups, and Hummer EVs. Plenty of deep discounts. Many with factory rebates and low-interest financing.
Then it's a good time to buy?
It's a great time. We're welcoming our previous customers back, as well as anyone else that felt the treatment just didn't feel right the last time somewhere else.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings, or valleycardealers.com. Car buying without the bad aftertaste.
Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety for wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk. Never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608. Set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments must involve risk. You know that. All comments and opinions of Josh Arnold do not constitute investment advice. I am a paid endorser.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Yes, you are, ladies and gentlemen. Little news, little information. I just saw this headline. It's kind of interesting. A mom got arrested for letting her 10-year-old walk into town alone. We've talked about this before many times on the show. When I was a little kid, 8, 9 years old, I used to walk from North Minneapolis to downtown all the time. No one ever bothered me. So what is that all about? Now, not even a 10-year-old can walk into town alone. Unless it's a long way. I haven't clicked on the story yet, so I don't know how long the walk was.
Yeah,
mine would have been
that factor in, I think. Don't you think, Tom?
About how far it was?
Yeah, because if if they live in an apartment that's like a block away or whatever from downtown, that's one thing to just run down to a grocery store or a gas station or something to get like a candy bar. But if you're saying they're making a 2-mile trek up and down hills across bridges, then yeah, we might have to have a conversation.
All right. So I'm going to click on it now. We're going to find out why a mom got arrested for letting her 10-year-old walk into town alone. Apparently, here's the deal. It's hard being a parent these days, and not just because the kids are difficult. A mom in rural Georgia got arrested for letting her 10-year-old son walk into town alone. It's less than a mile away. Her name is Brittany Patterson. Well, Brittany's are all screwing things up with their kids. I love Brittany. I miss Brittany. She's a wonderful person. Her name is Brittany Patterson, and her son's name is Soren. Where's that from again? Soren, S-O-R-E-N.
It sounds Norwegian.
It does sound Norwegian. You're absolutely right. He actually just turned 11 the other day. They have a farm outside the small town of Mineral Bluff, which is near the Tennessee border. Only a few hundred people live there. Back on October 30th, Brittany took her other kid to a doctor's appointment and thought Soren was playing in the woods. Yeah, so it's more safe to play in the woods by yourself than it is to walk downtown. I got to be honest with you. Playing by yourself in the woods might not be a great idea.
And what's the name of this metropolis again?
The metropolis is, where the hell was it again? A small town in Georgia, Mineral Bluff.
Yeah, it's got to be. I hear the crime rate in downtown Mineral Bluff is terrible.
Miserable Bluff, nice. That's really great. A random woman saw him on the side of the road where the speed limit is only 35. She asked if he was okay, and he said yes, but she called the cops anyway. Why don't you get your nose out of my business?
All right, mind your business, lady. Like, what are you doing?
She gave him a talk. Well, I should finish this one, by the way. Brittany did get a call from the police letting her know they'd picked him up. They said he could have been hit by a car or kidnapped, but she didn't think it was that big a deal. She said he's plenty mature enough. She gave him a talking to at home and thought that was it. But later that night, cops showed up back. They arrested her and cuffed her in front of her 3 kids.
Oh, my God.
That's a little over the top. I never saw Toots put in cuffs.
I think I was 10 or 11 when my folks, they gave me a belt that had a secret compartment in it with like $20, put me on the Greyhound in downtown Boston, and got off in Grand Central Station in New York. And they had to wait for my aunt.
How old were you?
I think it was 10 or 11.
Yeah, there you go. See, there you go.
Yeah.
They ended up suggesting the charges might be dropped if she agreed to sign something that said another adult would be a safety person and keep an eye on Soren when she's not home. She's also have to put an app on his phone to track his location. This is a town of like 300 people.
Did these people not have childhoods? Like, I'm confused. Like, walking all over the place by yourself. Like, I was as a child taking flights by myself. Like, there's like, sure, it's maybe don't walk down a busy street, but like the police don't need to come and arrest this mother unless this is like just a habitual like child neglect situation.
A little tough to be watching your mom put in cuffs, I would imagine, when you're only 10 years old. Although I was 7 when I saw him put my dad in a straitjacket, so what's worse?
Well, your dad needed to be in a straitjacket, and it doesn't sound like this woman needed to be arrested. That would be the difference, I think.
Yeah, it's a very good point you're making. Yeah. There's no question. Yeah, I don't understand why this had to be somebody like the mayor's daughter who didn't like it. Do you think that's what this is all about?
Hard to say.
Yeah, somebody that just needs to mind their own business.
Yeah, I know. Absolutely. Okay, I just had somebody send me something, and it's in the news today, I guess. What was the original name of Starburst candies?
Oh, I have no idea.
I didn't have a clue.
Starburst, gummy chews, or something.
Well, that's pretty. This is even worse name than gummy chews.
Okay.
Doug, you want to guess before I say
no,
what it is?
I don't have any idea.
He's like, I'm done. I don't want to hear it.
Starburst originally debuted in 1959 when you would go to a store and ask if you could buy a packet of opal fruits.
Opal fruits?
Opal fruits.
I don't hate it.
You don't?
It's not Starburst, but it's, I think, closer representation to what you're actually eating.
I'll tell you what, I sure don't love it.
Well, yeah, opal. Sounds like you're throwing up.
That's not a great.
It sounds like the old Ole and Lena like skit stuff that used to be popular in Minnesota, like the little cartoons.
Yes, the Ole and Lena. What was that again about? I didn't know your stomach was so weak. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, wasn't it that like the cartoons where it was like a Norwegian family or husband and wife, Ole and Lena, and they had like all the stereotypical Midwestern.
Right.
Yeah, that's what opal sounds like. Sounds like she'd be in one of those.
There's something like opal. I didn't understand that you had such a weak stomach. What do you mean a weak stomach? I'm throwing up as far as everyone else. That was one of the jokes. I am not making that up.
There's as many of those as there are limericks. I heard you guys trying to explain limericks on the air the other day.
I don't remember that. What were we doing?
I don't remember how it came up, but
you guys remember doing, what was it?
Must have been on the Family Show.
Limericks.
Maybe it was on the Family Show.
I feel like it had to have been. I feel like I would have remembered us doing poetry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Highbrow.
Highbrow, yeah.
Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Sorry.
I don't remember doing it on either show.
All right, I'll play the tape back when I get home. Send it to
Get it back to me.
No, but I think, Tom, you were trying to explain, maybe it was a guess what a limerick was, and you're like, there once was a man from Nantucket, but nobody finished the next one of the millions of next lines.
Something in a bucket.
Who carried his balls in a bucket is one of the.
Is that what it
famous
is?
lines. Yeah, well, there's like it's like Ole and Lena jokes. There's a million of them.
And what I'm about to say is F it. Thank you very much. Get it? I did not. What is this now? Some random facts. Arnold Schwarzenegger got paid $75 for Terminator. $75,000 is all he made
for what movie?
For Terminator.
They like the major motion picture.
Yeah, first one, that's probably before he realized how big of a hit it was going to be.
I guess was that like his first real like acting gig? I guess because if he didn't know his value, then I understand him probably not getting paid too much.
Unless that was his salary and he got 1% of the take, then it's a whole different deal.
2 years later, he got paid $15 million for Terminator 2. No, 7 years later, not 2 years later. So he got $75,000 for Terminator and $15 million for Terminator 2 7 years later. So there you go.
Works out.
I've never gone through. I've gotten paid $75,000 a year before, but I've never gotten paid $15 million 7 years later.
No, I've never done that in my life. Either one.
Most people were in that same boat, same ball of wax. Why don't we take our break here? Kristen Burt actually might come in very close to being on time for maybe the first time in the history of this show. It's a possibility.
I might have to text her because she's not even here yet.
Oh, she isn't? Okay, well, if she's not around yet, I don't want to disturb her. She usually listens to the show. I was just trying to be nice to her, so, it's always a mistake to be nice to a good-looking woman in Los Angeles, isn't it?
I'd say it's a good rule to follow.
Depends on how nice you are. Yeah.
Oh,
I suppose that's true.
Oh, there she is.
Okay, I just saw this. Birthdays on November 13th, 2024. Of course, Mark Rosen. It's his birthday today. Look at that, how we honor people we used to work with.
Happy birthday.
Well, that's two things now. It's his birthday today, and he's still the tallest Jew ever born.
And has the worst coffee breath ever. And
Oh, poor Rosie.
Well, we used to do commercials together, and for some reason he insisted on sharing a mic. He goes, Doug, I've been doing this a long time. It sounds so much better when you just have a mic. It's more natural. I'm like, wow.
Rosie.
He's a great guy.
I should call Rosie and have him on the show. I wondered, they'd probably like that a lot at K-Fan, wouldn't they, if I had him on this show?
Yeah, I think he's technically like a independent contractor.
Great guy. You've ever met a nicer guy than Mark Rosen?
Did he get remarried?
Yes.
He did. I thought I remember seeing that somewhere on LinkedIn or Facebook or something a while
ago. Did you notice that when you asked me, Tom, when did you get married, that I did a really good impression of Tevin?
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Tom, go ahead.
No, that's all right. You guys have been doing it all morning, so I just thought I'd start pissing and moaning about it at the last few minutes of this show.
Your feet are sore from getting run over, aren't they?
Yeah, they kind of are. No doubt about
experience. It. Now you know what I'm talking about.
Well, during the break, I'll smack these guys in line, and by the time we come
back, yeah, because they're the problem. Yeah, exactly.
They sure are. Doug and Tevin.
Damn it.
Got my eye on you.
I will say this as we go into it. That is more and more common on radio, podcasting, and television. People talk over each other constantly. And I don't know, why do they do that?
Well, because if you're really good at it, you can become the Secretary of Defense.
That's true. You're right. Does Hegseth talk over people a lot?
He's on Fox. So, I mean, that's kind of their deal, right?
Fox and CNN both, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. No, CNN's no different.
No question about it. All right, let's take that break and come back. The lovely and talented, you did say she's on now, right?
Sure is.
The extremely lovely and extremely talented Kristen Burt is up next.
I'm talking with my friends Michael Bilski and Brad Huckle of North American Banking Company. Guys, business owners have had to deal with a lot over the last few years, haven't they?
They sure have, Tommy. We pride ourselves on being able to help our customers with the challenges they face.
Our business bankers are experts and are always ready to help our customers capitalize on opportunities and solve problems.
Loan decisions come quickly because they're made here in the Twin Cities and not shipped out of state like at some of the national banks in town.
This allows our customers to expand their businesses with confidence, knowing that they have our team of experts in their corner.
Okay, so now you give me this big thing at the end. Way to go.
Well, you are the professional.
Oh, I forgot. Look, I know Brad and Mike, and I trust them with my banking. They've personally delivered on everything they've just said. So why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
When you need someone to listen, a lawyer you know and trust.
If you've never been in an auto accident, it's hard to know what to expect from the insurance adjuster. Here are some tips. 1, if they talk to you about whether or not you should hire a lawyer, it's a good sign that you probably should. 2, it's illegal for them to give you any legal advice. They aren't lawyers and they aren't licensed to practice law. 3, if they tell you that everyone involved in the accident is at fault, they're wrong. This comes from the belief that you're at fault for just being on the road. That's nonsense and not supported by any law. Finally, remember that friendly adjusters are often just gaining information. They want you to do most of the talking so they can file their report. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. I hope you're never injured in a collision. But if you are, don't sign anything until you've talked to us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
I hosted my show on the radio for 40 years. Now I host the Tom Barnard Podcast. And I'll tell you, I've never seen the passion and engagement from our audience as I do now. I know we also have businesses that listen to our podcast, and it got me thinking, wouldn't it be great to help those businesses grow by telling my listeners about them? So here's the deal. If you own or handle marketing for a business, would like to have my audience buy your product or service, visit TomBarnardShow.com, keyword partner, and we'll put together an ad campaign to help your business. That's TomBarnardShow.com, keyword partner, and thank you for listening.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kristen Bird Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabankco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Kristen, how are you? We're having one of those shows where everybody's talking over one another. So if that happens, it's just part of the show now, I guess.
Did you yell at everyone for doing it?
I did. It drives me nuts when people.
I know. It's like one of your pet peeves.
Oh, God. Yeah. Anyway, Kristen Bird, ladies and gentlemen, how are you?
I'm doing well. Top of the morning to everyone.
Well, now they're not going to talk.
That's it. Now no one's talking. Fantastic.
Don't talk over anybody.
I smacked him around during the break. I told you I was going to.
Did you smack him around?
There's no happy medium. So I just want to know why none of you were named People Magazine's Sexiest Man Alive for 2024. What happened?
Damn it.
I just don't have a movie coming out. Like, I usually isn't supposed to like help promote something.
No. So this is how it works. A lot of people are like, well, why didn't Glenn Powell get it? And why didn't this person get it? John Krasinski is Sexiest Man Alive this year, which seems really like out of left field, of course. But I think what a lot of people don't realize, just like your Walk of Fame star, where you have to agree to appear and all that stuff, you have to agree to an interview, a major photo shoot, doing video interviews. You have to go full boat in marketing this title. And a lot of actors actually do not want to do it. So they think it's kind of hokey and things like that. But for someone like John Krasinski, who's been working a lot behind the scenes on A Quiet Place and things like that, but hasn't been in front of the camera, this is a way to sort of kickstart his career again. Everyone just assumed it was going to be Glenn Powell. Glenn Powell does not need Sexiest Man Alive right now.
Why?
Because he is absolutely everywhere. He is like the go-to guy. He's considered the heir apparent for Tom Cruise.
Oh, really? How old is he?
He is 36, so he's a little bit older than when Tom Cruise kind of started. You know, Tom Cruise was famous by the time he was 20, but Tom Cruise is his mentor. And people are like, he's going to take over the Mission Impossible franchise. Glenn swears that he's not, but they're likely going to star side by side again in Top Gun 3 once that comes to fruition.
Well, I have a question for you, because it's a bit upsetting this way. In the fact that I read his remarks about winning Sexiest Man Alive, and he said he was in total shock and really surprised. Well, you just told me he wasn't in total shock and totally surprised because he had to qualify to even be put up for it. So he knew in advance that he was the sexiest man alive.
He and his handlers were working on this behind the scenes. Now, maybe his team was negotiating with people and then they presented the package to John Krasinski, and that's where his surprise came in. But understand that this is, if you look behind the scenes, like this is how the sausage is made. If you want to, get the inside baseball scoop about it, no one is ever just randomly surprised that they are sexiest man alive.
I wouldn't think so. So, yeah, I like John Krasinski. I do not like the fact that he just tried to pretend that he was totally shocked and, I can't even talk. It's like, you lying sack.
Yeah, and that his wife, Emily Blunt, was like, oh my gosh, I'm married to the sexiest man alive. So it just feels like an out of left field choice, to be honest. And I don't know if it's really going to move the needle. It's 2024, and, celebrity culture is so different even than what it was even 4 or 5 years ago. Sexiest Man Alive feels like an antiquated, like old school 1985 title, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true. No question about that. Is there a sexiest woman alive too?
We do not do that because that would be objectifying women.
It'd be sexist.
Oh, Jesus.
See, and that's where, honestly, if you're going to go tit for tat on this, you can't be saying that's sexist on women and then do that for men. So that's why I say it feels like an old school Hollywood trope, to be honest.
To say a woman is sexy is objectifying her?
Well, if you did it, because here's what would happen. John Krasinski's like, leaning in just in his like little muscle t-shirt, like whatever. For a woman, sexiest woman alive would probably have her in a bikini. Let's be honest.
Oh, okay.
Or like a really tiny outfit instead of in her power suit. It's just... Mm-hmm. It's the way society builds it up. It's the way the media would do it. So People magazine never touched it.
Oh, really?
Yep. They've never done Sexiest Woman Alive. They've done the Most Beautiful issue before. And that's where you'll see some of the women on the cover, and it won't be the women, in their Baywatch sky high red suit. You know what I'm talking about.
To like you and Catherine and Alex, the sexiest women alive on this. Did you ever talk about who wins this year?
KB1 always wins. Come on.
Oh, here we go.
Tom, I'm not fighting KB1 on anything. I see her tweets. She's in fighting mode.
What were you saying, Dougie?
She's right behind you.
Dun, dun, dun.
Damn it. I didn't spot her. In any case, it's... I got to be honest with you. Whoever cared who the sexiest person alive was anyway?
Well, when we were all buying magazines, people did. In fact, it was one of their top selling issues of the year. It made a fortune for them back in the day. And I mean, I think about that. When I used to go and travel a lot for work, I would go and buy a stack of magazines at Hudson News, at LAX all the time. I'd buy like Us Weekly and People and maybe a fashion magazine. And I would sit there and pore over them during the flight. Now, if I go into a store, I buy a $10 water bottle and that's it. Maybe some gummy worms or something like that, which are like $15. But other than that, I try and stay out of that. And magazines aren't really what I'm grasping for, because the news that I'm reading in the magazines, I knew about a week ago.
Yeah, that's true. You bought a bottle of water for $10?
It's expensive. Have you bought water at the airport?
No.
You buy like those big bottles, they're like $10.
$10 for a bottle of water.
Are you hydrating? Are you hydrating on the plane?
Yes, but I just bring my... Well, we didn't fly. We drove.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah. I was like, because oftentimes I do cross-country flights. And sometimes while it is great to bring your portable Stanley Cup, that sucker is heavy. It weighs like as much as I do. So sometimes bringing it with me is like, I don't have the room in my gear. I just can't do it. And it's going to be the $10 water bottle instead. Sometimes it's convenience over saving the planet.
I suppose that's true. So what else is going on in Hollywood, sister?
Other big news is that Amazon is shutting down Freevee. And we talked a lot about Freevee. I want to say maybe about a year ago, because we talked about Jury Duty, which became their Emmy-nominated series, which I thought was hilarious. Tom, I don't think you really liked it. But what they're doing is they're folding it into Amazon Prime Video. Most of us probably subscribe to this anyway. But once they added an ad tier to Amazon Prime, there was no point with having a fast network. Guys, it's free ad-supported TV is what FAST stands for, just to remind everyone. So they're folding it in. If you don't have Amazon Prime, if you're one of the few, those shows will still exist free on the Amazon platform. So you'll just kind of have to seek them out, whatever you're watching. But there will be no network with free ad-supported television solely as its own network.
Is that because people will not watch ads?
People are watching ads. In fact, most people are doing the ad-supported streaming subscriptions now because
they're free.
They're not free. They are.
Oh.
Amazon is ad-supported. That is a tier of your subscription, or you can opt out and pay more with your subscription for no ads.
Yeah, so I think Netflix is like if you can tolerate watching ads, it's $6 a month or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so because for some people, these subscriptions are becoming so expensive. I mean, Disney has done 3 price increases in about 16 months. So for some people, ad support is the only way that they can subscribe. It's just unaffordable for them to spend $20 or more a month on a subscription. So
such a scam.
It is a scam now because we all were convinced that canceling and cutting the cord with our cable, it was going to be more cost effective to do these streaming services. And guess what? We're probably all, if we subscribe to everything, we're probably up to your old cable bill.
Yeah. If I'm paying for a subscription for a service, I should get 0 advertisements. That's my view of it. I understand there's different, but you can pay more. No, one flat fee. I don't want the option. It's got to be, if I'm paying for it, I'm not being advertised on it. That's my take.
AJ, are you hanging around with a bunch of 60-year-olds? You're starting to get that get off my lawn.
Oh man, yell at the guy.
No, it's just I'm just sick of it because I understand that they're in control and they can make the decision and all that stuff, but we got to put our foot down as consumers at some point.
I'm going to tell you guys it's going to get worse. And I hate to say this, and it's tied into what just happened in the election last week. We are going to see more mergers and acquisitions in Hollywood because the deregulation is going to happen. We are going to see probably a lot of networks sort of consolidate, and we will see those monthly prices increase. They're not going to absorb it. It's passed on to all of us as consumers. So those monthly subscriptions are going to be much more expensive. I wouldn't be surprised without advertising if some of these subscriptions go into the $30, $35 per month territory sooner versus later.
I have noticed that the 2 major news networks, CNN and Fox, you got to pay for them now every month on, I don't know what, if it's on, I suppose on live TV, you don't have to, but
You don't on live TV. It depends on if you watch it like within, say, Max or some of the other.
Right.
And that's for like the premium content. The basic content is still available, but it's they're talking about this too. Local news, national news, with the deregulation that is expected with the new administration coming up, we're about to see a lot of things change very rapidly, probably within the next year or so.
Yeah, I don't know. Like you talk about Freevee. There's a show on there called Corner Gas. It's a Canadian show about a little town gas station.
You love that show.
It show's hilarious, really funny. But we literally have 3 episodes left to go out of the 6 seasons.
You better hurry up because, you need to seek it out on your Amazon Prime. It should be somewhere located on your Amazon Prime content menu, but. Just know that Freevee's folding.
Another question I have for all of you is I've noticed this as well, that in our house, we have 2 televisions. And I thought it went by the house. It no longer does that. It's by the television.
By device. So that also includes your phone, your iPad. You can pay more per device. Depending on your subscription level. So that is also something, of course, being passed on to the consumers. So I think it's going to be, we're going to be paying for a lot entertainment wise.
Yeah.
Which also, I think I can understand that at one or the other, but also I think it's Netflix. Then it's like, yeah, you can have 4 devices, but they all have to be on the same home Wi-Fi network.
Yeah.
What's the point then? And I know Doug, maybe I am like old guy yelling at cloud, but like, it's just, we're trapped. We're trapped, everybody. It doesn't make any sense. Can we have rational thinking consumers in these meetings? Like, hey, guys, that's a terrible idea. They're like, I don't care. These bozos are going to pay it. Yeah, we probably are, but it sucks.
It totally sucks. And you're right, because tech disrupted entertainment and sold them, this bag of goods. And they're like, this is going to change entertainment. And no one came up with the business plan going, what does this look like, 6 months down the line, 18 months down the line? There was no business plan, no business model for how you monetize this sucker. They just went all in and spent a ton of money. And then all of a sudden they had to pull back going, whoa. We are hemorrhaging money left and right. That deficit that they need to make up is passed on to us as consumers, but also it affects us as consumers because there is a major tightening in terms of content, salary here in Hollywood. And we will feel it as viewers because there is less and less content. There was a time, and it's so funny because I love to have markers here on the Tom Barnard Show, because when we started in February 2023, is that correct? I think February 2023, I was like, okay, there's like 3, 4, 5 things coming out a day, not even just a week. And now I'm like, oh, okay, we have stuff coming out on Friday. It's not like a daily situation anymore. So even asking like, what's coming out today? There is something coming out today, but not every single day anymore. Like those things have been curtailed, and it's here, and it is at least the near future because of tech being the great disruptor in Hollywood.
So I think for the older viewers like Tom and AJ and myself, it still is an overwhelming amount of options. I mean, it's something that we didn't grow up. We had very few. And then cable came along. It's like, man, 160 channels. This is on, and there's nothing on. And now even though they're
thousands
back and trying to, contain expenses, which is good. I mean, that's what you do after a growth period in business. I'm still every day finding new stuff. I just started watching Chaos and what's the other show, Fallout, this last week, and they're both great. They're very different, but they're both really
don't get too attached to Chaos because they canceled it.
Oh no!
I know. I'm sorry. I know. Jeff Goldblum is great.
Jeff Goldblum's expressions alone is worth watching.
He is going to be an absolute delight in Wicked. I'm going to see it this week, and I cannot wait. But Fallout is getting a season 2. In fact, they just cast Macaulay Culkin for season 2 in it.
Well, it's weird. We just watched one of those last episodes last night, and the little people that they throw in, Eric Estrada shows up in a really small role, and Fred Armisen plays a insane radio. It's post-apocalyptic. He plays this insane radio station operator the whole station is surrounded by booby traps. So you open up the trunk and the guy gets a crossbow through the neck, and there's dead bodies everywhere. And he's like, be sure to tune in. It's like, this is great.
Fred Armisen plays crazy very well. Yeah, he's really good at it. Yeah. So just like this is just things to look at. And, if you have your list of content and things that you want to watch and haven't watched, this is a great opportunity because right now it's going to be holiday fare between now and the end of the year. So if over the holiday season, you're like, I want to binge watch a TV show that I hadn't had the time, this is your opportunity to do it. For Tom, he has 16,000 shows started and not completed. So this is his time to finish them. I need to start writing down what he's like. We're 4 episodes into this in season 1, and I'm in season 5, episode 16.
Well,
so I can keep track.
It's interesting because what you just told me, and I was thinking about this because I have 4 televisions total, and when I watch Freevee, it's $15 a month. So $60 a month. So I'm paying $720 a year to watch Freevee.
But are you using Amazon for shipping? Because the Amazon is all encompassing your Amazon Prime membership.
That does help.
Yeah.
I mean, who's going to do that? The people can't afford that. They got to have it more affordable for most people, I would think.
What they're doing is bundles because they're doing a lot of bundling with different. Yeah. So, you can do like the Hulu and the Disney. There's a bundle now, I think that's like Disney, Hulu, and Max even, because they're realizing that people can't do, an a la carte type of situation. And I think that a lot of people, at least people I'm talking to in Los Angeles, a lot of people are like, we're going out less, we're spending less money, going to, movies and out at restaurants. One of our favorite local joints here, they just put it's really a community place. They do trivia, they host charity events, people do their baby showers there. I mean, this is truly a community restaurant. They were like, we have a major loan due because we opened right before the pandemic and we need to find an investor to save us. They're like, there's just not enough business coming through the door because people don't spend like they did 5 years ago.
Except for, of course, your buddy, Dr. Fauci. Did you see that stat on him?
No, I don't pay attention to Dr. Fauci.
I want you guys to, somebody look up, AJ, Tevin, whomever wants to, how much does he spend per day on a driver? And he doesn't spend it, by the way. It's paid for by, let's say, other outlets. Dr. Fauci has a driver, and you're going to love to hear how much he makes.
So it's a private car service, right? Basically,
I guess, yeah.
That's got to be, I would bet, $750 a day.
No, it's more than that, I bet. I'm going to say 2,500.
Okay. Anybody else have a guess?
I don't know. I'm trying to find it right now.
I'm trying to find it too, but it's
probably like $1,000.
20 grand.
A day?
A day.
That doesn't even make sense because I'm like, you could hire someone for a day and it's.
I think Bruce Springsteen will do it for 10.
He's got nothing else to do.
I'll drive Fauci around if he wants to hand me 20 grand a day. I'm not a great driver and I can't parallel park, but I'll still drive him.
What do you mean you can't parallel park?
I am a terrible parallel parker. So I grew up in the suburbs and my driving test was literally a right turn, a right turn, a right turn, and back up straight. And then I passed my exam. And my town just didn't really have parallel parking. We just didn't do it. So I think we did like one quick lesson on it. It wasn't on my exam. And then I lived in New York City for almost a decade. And then I moved to Los Angeles and I was like, oh my God, I have to parallel park. And my boyfriend at the time tried to teach me and I wasn't good at it. And I just kind of like, if it's like a big space, I can make it in. If not, I get out and I have my husband finish the job for me.
You can buy cars now that'll do it for you.
Yeah, I think that's, I'm going to be buying a car before any sort of tariffs come into place. So before the end of the year. So I'm going to get one of those.
Yeah, there you go.
Here's your paragraph. You ready?
Yeah.
Dr. Anthony Fauci, the former National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases director, received $15 million a year in taxpayer money to cover the cost of his private security detail. The driver. $15 million a year for this guy.
Oh, but that's security too.
I don't care. It's still $15 million a year.
I know it's
for
a lot of
that
money,
idiot.
but I think
somebody
I
has
was
to
just
a bullet for you.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if there's more than one person in that car. Like how many people are in that car with him? I'm guessing that's all encompassing. And I'm not excusing it because it's a lot of money and it's ridiculous. I just thinking it was like an Uber driver essentially or a professional limo driver in a car.
Who's going after Fauci? Who wants to kill Fauci?
Everybody on Twitter. Oh my God.
Do they really?
Fauci probably has full-time security at his home too.
Yeah,
I'm going to guess that. Honestly, anyone who is in politics these days, even on a state level, probably has to have massive security because people are nuts and people are nuts right now. I actually got off of Twitter. I was like, this thing is so toxic. I can't even read. It was just reading the stuff.
There was a bomb threat at Chisago Lakes, like some ballot place in Chisago Lakes yesterday. So I would assume that, Fauci definitely has to deal with his fair share of crazy people.
I'd be scared to go out in public if I were Fauci, to be honest.
So you're saying he shouldn't have lied to the people for 4 years? Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
I knew it's not what you were saying.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But I do think that because the topic of COVID, vaccines, masking became so politicized that you're either on one side or the other. There's like no in between on that. And he was the messenger and he didn't have support from the person who was in office at that time. So it was two messages going out, which I think didn't need to happen on either side.
Oh, I agree 100%, but that's how things are nowadays. That our politicians are the filthiest they've ever been.
Yeah,
well,
it's really
I think the public shoulders some blame in this.